Namo Phat. Good morning. Thanks for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The second mindfulness training. Where the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression, I vow to cultivate loving kindness and learn ways to work for the well-being of people, animals, plants, and minerals. I will practice generosity by sharing my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in real need. I'm determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. I will respect the property of others, but I will prevent others from profiting from human suffering or the suffering of other species on earth. We're reading Ajahn Amaro's book, Catastrophe, Apostrophe, for our Dharma lessons. This morning we're finishing a section on the 7 qualities of a well-rounded person. Number 5, Kalanyutta. This means knowing the time and place and situation, knowing what the occasion is. If we consider carefully where we are and what's going on and the proper time to speak up or be quiet with respect to our actions, duties, and engagements with other people, then we will regularly be a force for harmony and benefit. Kalanyutta encourages a sensitivity to when to arrive and depart, when to begin and end a conversation. It also means developing punctuality, regularity, being in good time to meet responsibilities, staying with family or friends for the right moment of time and at the right time. As Benjamin Franklin once noted, fish and visitors stink after 3 days. Kalanyutta includes knowing how to plan our time and organize it effectively. 6. Parisanyutta. This means knowing the group of people that we are currently relating to, the company we are keeping, and the context within which we are meeting each other. Are we with our parents? Are we visiting a school? Are we in our own country or a place where we don't know the language? Are we in the role of teaching a group of students? Are we one patient on a hospital ward? Are we putting our children to bed? Who are we with, and what is the relationship between us all? Parisanyutta is knowing the locale, the people, and the language to use to communicate skillfully. Just as the Buddha described in the passage quoted back in chapter 1, if one varies the terminology as one travels through different regions, continually bearing in mind how these various terms are applied to the same household object, then all divisive bias will be avoided. 7. Pugalanyutta. This means knowing the character and role of individual people. It is something of a subset of the previous group. When we consider distinctive differences between others and take those into account, when we contemplate someone's temperament, abilities, and shortcomings, when we recollect our past experiences of communicating with that person, all this is to have developed Pugalanyutta. This skill also guides us to assess whether someone might be reliable as a friend or as a business partner, how they might fare in the monastic life, how they might handle a leadership role, and how it would be best to relate to them. Lastly, it can reliably guide us to communicate skillfully with another person, whether to praise them or to criticize, whether to advise them or ask questions. These 7 kinds of knowledge are known as the Suparisa Dhamma, the qualities of a well-rounded person. I find these qualities are very valuable in many situations: family get-togethers, on the London Underground, in the monastery, everywhere. All of these are the result of developing mindfulness and full awareness and wise reflection. If we nurture these 7 saparisa Dhamma, they actively deprive ignorance of ija, of its fuel. They support the development of the Noble Eightfold Path, and thereby open up that 4th exit point from the destructive, addictive cycle well before it has begun. There's an old Alcoholics Anonymous saying that if you sit in a barber's chair long enough, you will eventually get your hair cut. This means that if you go to visit pubs and bars often enough, sooner or later you'll end up having a drink. So don't go near the pub. If you don't want a haircut, get out of the barber's chair. If we don't put ourselves in the position of temptation, we will not slip up and tumble a tail over tea kettle, make that sudden turn, the fall, and undergo the catastrophe of dependent origination, ending up in the crumpled heap of Sokha Paradeva Dukkha Domanasu Upayasa, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. This 4th exit point is about good friends and skillful living, the not climbing into the barber's chair, so that there is no fuel to power the turning of the wheel of becoming. This is how it operates before link number 1, and provides a wholesome and beneficial basis for our life. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thanks for joining me today.